The cold wind howled through the endless stretch of snowy forest as young Arseny sat in the small sleigh beside his father. Their journey home had been long, but they were filled with hope after selling the last of their supplies in the village. That hope shattered the moment a group of masked bandits emerged from the trees. Their horses snorted clouds of steam into the freezing air as the thieves surrounded them. Arseny's father tried to defend them, shouting that they had nothing left of value. The bandits didn't care. They wanted power, control, and fear. One of them struck Arseny's father with the end of a rifle, sending him crumpling to the ground, blood staining the snow. Arseny screamed and ran to him, but rough hands seized the boy and dragged him toward the darker parts of the forest. The leader of the gang, a scar-faced brute, glanced coldly at the unconscious man and then down at the trembling child. "Let the wolves handle him. Nature doesn't leave witnesses," he growled. The men laughed as they yanked Arseny through thick branches that tore at his clothes and skin. After what felt like hours, they reached a steep ravine. Without hesitation, they threw him down into the icy pit like a piece of trash. Arseny hit the frozen ground hard, pain shooting through his body. Above, the silhouettes of the bandits disappeared into the swirling snow. For a moment, silence ruled the darkness. Then, a distant, haunting howl echoed through the night, long, sharp, and hungry. Arseny's breath quickened as he curled into himself, trembling not only from the cold but from pure terror. He could hear soft crunching in the snow, paws approaching. He squeezed his eyes shut, believing his short life was about to end. Arseny's heart pounded so hard he thought the wolves could hear it. The cold bit into his skin, turning his fingers numb and stiff. He dared to open his eyes just a crack, and saw a large shadow move between the snow-covered rocks. The creature stepped into the faint moonlight, revealing thick gray fur and sharp, gleaming fangs. A wolf, the leader of the pack, the mother wolf. Arseny tried not to whimper, but a tiny sound escaped his throat. The wolf's ears twitched. She approached slowly, her paws silent, her eyes glowing like twin embers. He expected her to leap and tear into him, just as the bandits intended. But instead, she lowered her head, sniffing his face gently. Her warm breath hit his frozen cheeks. Arseny stared back, too afraid to move. Yet something in her gaze wasn't hunger. It was curiosity, and something softer. She nudged him with her nose as if urging him to get up. When he failed, she circled behind him and pressed her body against his, giving him warmth. Her thick fur wrapped him like a blanket. Arseny felt the heat seep slowly into his bones, fighting the deadly cold. A low growl echoed from farther up the ravine, and two younger wolves appeared, stepping cautiously toward the boy. The mother wolf snapped sharply at them, protecting him. The pack watched in confusion as their leader gently gripped the boy's coat between her teeth, lifting him like one of her own pups. Arseny dangled helplessly but felt no pain. With surprising strength, she climbed the slope carrying him, the other wolves surrounding them like guardians. They moved deeper into the forest, where the air was warmer and the winds could not reach. Arseny's fear slowly faded, replaced by bewilderment. He had been thrown to the wolves, and yet, instead of ending his life, the mother wolf had chosen to save it. Arseny awoke to soft warmth surrounding him. The scent of pine and earth filled his nose as he blinked up at a dimly lit ceiling of rock. He was inside a cave, a hidden den tucked deep within the forest. The mother wolf lay, curled around him, her massive body a shield against the chill. Her pups tumbled playfully nearby, their tiny paws tapping across the stone floor. When they noticed Arseny was awake, they approached curiously, sniffing and nudging him as if welcoming a new sibling. At first, Arseny was unsure. He had been raised by humans. Wolves were supposed to be dangerous, wild creatures. But the pups' playful antics drew a small, hesitant smile from him. One pup climbed on his lap, another tugged gently at his sleeve. The mother wolf watched with calm, approving eyes. Arseny tried to sit up, his body stiff from cold and fear, but hunger gnawed at him harder than any pain. The mother wolf left the den briefly and returned with a fresh catch, a rabbit. She tore portions for her pups, then nudged a small piece toward Arseny. He hesitated, but survival overcame discomfort, and he ate, the warm meat giving him strength. Days passed. He learned the rhythms of the pack, their hunts, their play, their nightly songs to the moon. He followed the pups, crawling and running through the snow, mimicking their movements. When danger lurked nearby, he copied their stillness, listening with sharp attention. His voice softened into quiet growls and gestures instead of words. His ears began to notice the slightest rustle, his feet learned to tread lightly. The forest no longer seemed frightening, it became home. Every night, nestled between the wolves, Arseny felt a strange and deep comfort. The mother wolf wasn't just protecting him anymore. She was raising him. Winter melted into spring, and the quiet forest that once frightened Arseny now felt like the safest place in the world. He had grown stronger. His legs could sprint over snow and roots with ease, his instincts sharper than ever. He could tell the difference between a harmless rustle and a lurking threat. He communicated through low sounds and gestures, and the pack understood him as one of their own. But far away from the peaceful den, trouble stirred. The same bandits who had abandoned him to die were now wanted men, hunted by soldiers across nearby villages. Rumors began to spread among the townspeople. Hunters claimed they saw a wild child in the woods, running with wolves, howling like them. Fear spread quickly. Some called him a forest spirit, others a curse. When these whispers reached the bandits, panic twisted their hearts. If the boy truly lived, he could expose them, lead the authorities straight to them. Driven by fear and cruelty, the bandit leader gathered his men and rode toward the forest again. Snow crunched under boots and hooves as they pushed deeper than before, clutching their weapons and cursing the wilderness around them. Arseny sensed the danger before he ever saw them. The wolves smelled the familiar stench of the intruders, the same scent that once carried violence and terror. The mother wolf's growl rumbled deep in her chest. Her eyes narrowed, not with fear, but with a fierce protectiveness only a mother could feel. The pack formed a tight circle around Arseny, shielding him. No longer the helpless child thrown into the cold, Arseny stared from the shadows of the trees. Rage flickered in his heart. Memories of his father's blood staining the snow, of cruel laughter fading into the night. The bandits believed they were returning to finish their crime. They had no idea they were walking straight into justice, delivered by the wild itself. The forest seemed to hold its breath as the bandits crept closer, weapons drawn, scanning every shadow for movement. They remembered the helpless child they had thrown away, but Arseny was no longer that frightened boy. Watching them from the tree line, he felt the mother wolf's presence beside him, strong and steady. She gave a soft nudge, reminding him that he did not face this alone. The leader stepped forward, shouting into the trees, "Show yourself, ghost child. We know you're here." His voice cracked with fear more than anger. The wolves responded with a unified, thunderous howl that echoed across the forest like a warning. Birds scattered into the sky. The bandits' horses reared up in panic, throwing some men to the ground. Confusion turned to terror. Arseny leapt from the shadows, standing tall and wild, his clothes torn but his eyes fierce. The bandits froze, disbelief gripping them. He looked like a spirit of the forest, untamed and fearless. When the leader raised his rifle, the mother wolf sprang with lightning speed, knocking him off balance. The rest of the pack surged forward, surrounding the criminals in a ring of snarling teeth and flashing eyes. The bandits stumbled back, dropping their weapons, begging for mercy. For the first time, they realized the power of the living world they had underestimated. They fled blindly, promising never to return, their cowardly screams fading into the distance. The forest fell silent again. Arseny knelt beside the mother wolf, burying his face in her fur, overwhelmed with relief. Days later, forest rangers searching for him finally discovered the den. They lifted him into safety, reunited him with his grieving father who had miraculously survived and never stopped searching for his son. Yet as Arseny looked back from the edge of the forest, he saw the mother wolf watching. Their bond would never be broken. He survived because she chose not to be a predator, she chose to be a mother. And so the legend lived on. The boy who was saved by a wolf, and became one of the pack.